أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجه. First and foremost, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If I can have the brothers come a little bit closer, and if I can have the sisters come a little bit closer, I'd really appreciate it, inshallah. This camera setup is here because not everything can be transmitted live, especially discussion Q&As. But some students have asked if they can get a copy of whatever we're going to talk about today. So we set it up for them, inshallah. Salawat, please. The way the discussion is going to work is I'm going to pose a series of questions. And I'm going to ask you to answer those questions. And then I'll lead the discussion in that particular way. Has anybody heard of the Socratic method? Has anybody heard of that? Okay. It's where you teach by asking questions. It's my favorite method. You need no notes. You just have to ask questions. You do the work. Salawat, please. Is God limited? God is not limited, correct? Okay. Do you exist? Yes. Anybody here says you don't exist? Because then there's the door. You got to take you somewhere special. Okay. You exist. God is not limited. Are you God? No. If you said yes again, there is a door. We got to take you somewhere special. More special this time. Okay. God's not limited. You exist, and you're not God. Does anybody see what the next question is going to be? If you do, put your hand up. I want to kind of see. What's the three questions? Think. I want to see intellectual capacities here. God is not limited. Okay. Second question is, you exist. Okay. Third question is, the answer to that was, you're not God, correct? What's naturally the next question supposed to be? Sorry? Close, not who. Well, you said God is, if He's not limited, that means He exists, okay? Are who? No, the next question isn't about us, because that's not where the paradox is taking place. God is unlimited, right? You also exist. Imagine you're a speck, okay? Right? And the third thing is saying what? That you are not God, correct? When you're not God, that means you're not, that the speck is not God, correct? Correct? Okay. That means God has to be existence minus speck at least, correct? And is that a limited God? If you said yes, put your hands up. Okay, good. If you said no, put your hands up. Okay, put hands up. What's this? Either yes or no. Okay, good. Okay. The conundrum and the understanding that I want to start the talk today with is exactly this. Okay? God is definitely not limited. Okay? We definitely do exist. Okay? And the last thing is, we're definitely not God. While these statements being true, right? We have to ask then, how is God not limited? That's the last question. The discussion's first question today is, how is God not limited? If you understood that, say a salawat. Anybody not follow? If you did not follow, put your hands up. Everybody followed? Okay, this is where I ask questions. Jafar, tell me what you said. Huh? Yeah, what's the fourth question? How is God limited? Brother with the glasses. Yes, you. Where's the paradox? With the apparent paradox. Where's the apparent paradox? You're not you with the glasses, you with the glasses. They're all wearing glasses. He knows who he is. Yeah. Where's the paradox? Okay, you're not sure. Well, you. Yes. Sister side. Where's the paradox? Okay. If I tell you that something is not limited, what does it mean? It means that it is everywhere, right? Like, there's no bounds to it, correct? Okay. You're also telling me that you're not God and you exist, correct? By that definition, does it not create a bounds for God? That God is definitely not you. Correct or not correct? Does that make sense or no? Okay. So my question is now, how is God not limited? Is that a fair question? This is why they take people who teach philosophy to the mental hospital sometimes. I'm kidding. It's a very valid and real question. Okay? I'm not God, I do exist, and I believe that there's a non-limited God too, which is actually true. Okay? That means that at the very least, I have to understand the relationship between me and God, such that all three statements can still be true. You see that? If I don't understand the relationship between me and God, then I'm in an apparent paradox. If you understand why this understanding of this relationship is important, put your hand up now. If you don't understand the relationship between you and your God, then the fundamental belief system, which is based off of believing in a God, is all apparent. Is Allah apparent? Thank you. Okay. That's why it's important to understand the relationship between you and God. Okay. Let's talk about how God is not limited. Okay, Salawat, please. Anybody have any answers? Who wants to try to explain? It's not Socratic method when you're not waiting for me to talk, I'm waiting for you to talk. Right? Go ahead.
You posed the formula that there's existence.
Yeah. Is there a second mic? A third mic too? One for the brother side, one for the sister side?
I can do that.
You could be louder, but I wanna. Yeah, you guys use the wireless one. I'll take the nicer to hold one. Salawat, please. I'm doing this because you actually have to hear what each of you say. That's the whole discussion. You're not here to just hear me talk. You're here to hear yourself talk. I'll pick. I'll volunteer. I'll voluntold you guys. Okay, go ahead.
You pose the formula that there's us, there's God, there's existence, then God must, and we're spec, that's what we're spec. So God must equal to existence minus us. But that would only be true if we consider us and God in the same love, as if we are, as Allah is bound by space and time, as if this and that. But the reason why that doesn't work is because Allah isn't bound by space and time.
Great answer. Okay? Who buys that answer? Who understood that answer? Let me explain that answer. He's saying, listen. You're assuming something, buddy, Sayyid. You're assuming that God is on the same field as us, meaning He's one for which a second is you. Okay? But that's not the case. Okay? God is not a one for which a second is you. Okay? My question to you, remember it's a Socratic method. Then you're saying that the definition and the meaning of existence for God is one meaning, and the existence meaning for myself is a different meaning? If that's the case, what's the opposite of existence? Non-existence. Then either I am a instance of non-existence, or na'udhu billah, God is an example of non-existence. Checkmate. Answer.
I don't think I have an answer.
Who understood my question? If you understood the question, put your hands up. I'll explain it again properly. If you did not understand, put your hands up. I'll explain it properly. Good, good. This putting your hand up when you don't understand, this is rahmah from Allah. Listen, things are understood by their opposites, correct? Okay? Alright. So, if God is one existence A, let's say, okay, and I am existence B, let's say, okay, what's the opposite of existence? For them to be A and B, they must share something, correct? Correct? Okay, so that's subcategory, that's the parent category over here, okay, for which it's an A and a B of. What's the opposite of existence, period? Non-existence, correct? Okay. Therefore, if I am somebody who is existing, then God must be in the category of, na'udzubillah, non-existing. Or, if God is somebody who is existing, then I must be in the category of not existence. Remember both of those people who said they're God, or na'udzubillah, the other thing, they were both going to be sent to somewhere special, correct? Okay. That's the rebuttal. Who wants to try again? Prove to me God, guys. Or prove to me yourself, really. I'm not even asking for it. Prove to me yourself.
When you say that, like there's an A and B that either exists or doesn't exist, I feel like it should be that if A doesn't exist, then B doesn't exist. So if there's no God, then there's no existence in humanity for humans. So it kind of folds on itself because for us to exist, there has to be a God to exist.
So are you saying, yeah, you know what? I get you say it. The more important one to exist is God. So we'll say God exists, but that means that we don't exist, but it's okay, we don't exist.
No, I'm saying if we consider ourselves to exist, then there has to be a God to exist. Because the other way around, if you're saying that God doesn't exist, then I don't feel like you can justify saying that we exist.
The problem is both of them cause an impossibility. Okay? As you're seeing the impossibility in, if you say we exist and God doesn't exist, how could we possibly exist? You're seeing that impossibility, right? I'm showing you the other one too. What's the other one? That if God exists, then that means you don't exist. You're the opposite of existence, remember? What's the opposite of existence? Non-existence. If you're not existence God type, then you're the opposite of that, which is non-existence. Opposites are twos. Correct? Ziddain. Correct? Okay. Go ahead. Sisters.
So,
Alaykum salam.
this is just me trying to obtain some clarity actually. So, Manvi mentioned about space and time. So, I exist in this space and time, let's say, but I don't exist in another different space and time where God exists. So, I am not existent in that one, whereas God will exist in that one. However, there's another thing that you mentioned.
1 second before you go to however. That's wrong.
Okay.
Why is it wrong?
Well,
The second you say that I exist in this space and time, let's say space X, space 1 and time 1, okay? You gave me two directions to work with, okay? Space 1 and time 1. If I was to say space time, I'd say space time 1, okay? Then at least in that one dot, the question still holds, correct?
Yes.
You have not solved the problem.
Not in that coordinate, yes.
In that dot, if the question remains, then it exists everywhere. You can't say, it's okay if it's a paradox there, huh? We're worried about over here. Like, honey, I'm sorry. If it's a paradox, it's a paradox. Does that make sense? Is this making sense?
I guess the question
Yes.
is, why is it that only one of us must exist at a time?
I'm not saying only one of us has to exist. I'm saying you have to explain to me a relationship of existence between you and God such that allows for the three to exist. And that's what you guys are trying to answer. What is the relationship between you and God? Guys, we have the Quran and Ahlul Bayt, just letting you know. 1 second, there's a go ahead. Can we get them? No, we can't. Go talk.
So our relation, like we are, God is not dependent on us to exist, but we are dependent on Him to exist. Like our existence is because of His awareness on us. So that kind of relationship is, He's not dependent on us, but we are dependent on Him to exist. So it's kind of independent in that way, but also dependent in another way.
Okay. You're telling me that we're dependent on Him, okay, but He's not dependent on us. It's a very similar thing that brother over there said. That brother over there, you can't tell. That guy over there, okay. What did he say? He said, we can't really say that we exist because that would be a paradox because we're dependent on God, correct? And he said, therefore, you must take the other route, that God exists, okay? And I told him that, I'm sorry, but you haven't solved the other paradox, which is what? That if God exists, then you are in the category of the opposite of existence, which is what? Non-existence. Okay? But you do exist. It brings us back to the same question. Ever played those mind games or those mirror games where you just keep going around, you keep ending up in the same place, you're like, what's going on here? I'm going to play that with you guys today. We're going to call it Dimagh Ki Lassi. Salawat, please. While we're talking about this, I'm going to relate it to other items too. Why is this important? Okay, why is it important? When you have anything of a need that you want to go after, do you go after it the way you want? You want money, you go rob a bank? No, right? You're binding yourself to a Sharia, correct? Correct? Right? This question is the foundation of all the actions you've been doing. See that? So find anything important that you've been doing. Okay? This question is the link to that particular thing. See that? If you see that, put your hand up. If you don't see that, put your hand up. Tell me how you don't see that. Yeah. That whenever you have a need and you go after it. I gave you an example of earning money. I need to pay rent. I'm going to go after and get a job to pay rent. Okay? Do I go rob a bank or something? No, I abide by the rules of God and Islam to go now get a halal income for myself, correct? Right? Okay. That is dependent on the fact that this religion of ours isn't paradoxical, correct? Okay. The most fundamental point of the religion is the existence of God, correct? Okay. So if I provide for you a paradoxical item to think about on the existence of God, right? Then I've made sure that your whole castle is on a toothpick and I whacked it. You see that? Your castle of life, piety, religion, marriage, all the other topics you had in mind. Okay? On a toothpick and I whacked it. Okay? You now see why this question is important. Understanding the question is half the answer. Do you guys understand why this question is important? If somebody still does not believe this question is important, put their hands up. Okay, now you know it's important. It took us a while to get there. Salawat, please. What is the relationship between me and God? You see why it's important? Good. Did you feel this importance for this question before the session ever? Tell me, if you did, put your hand up. If you didn't, put your hand up. Good. You achieved one goal, which is we had created a question for you to run after. If we end the session now today, we're successful. Okay? They've created something for you to run after. This feeling that not everything is figured out in my religion is very important. That I haven't figured everything out for myself. It's very important. If you don't have that feeling, you'll never run. Okay? We just created that feeling for you. Close your eyes. All y'alls. Okay. Imagine a lumberjack. Okay? Imagine the lumberjack? Yeah? Are you the lumberjack? No. Is the lumberjack you? No. Is the lumberjack separate from you? No. You're lumberjack. Are you separate from the lumberjack? No, because if you were separate from it, then it wouldn't be your lumberjack, wouldn't exist. You see this unique relationship between you and the lumberjack? This is the relationship between the I and its associates. The I, your I, created a my lumberjack. See that? I'm just giving depth to what I talked about. I was talking about it in a very average level, and now we've said, let's just take it one step higher. Okay? That's it. Okay. The relationship between the I and the my's, right, is a relationship between you're a my, of the ultimate I. See that? Okay. I asked you a question. Are you separate from the lumberjack? You were separate from it, but not distinct, such that that was away from you and you were away from it. Why? Why? We're not talking about a lumberjack, we're talking about my lumberjack. If you were separate from it, does the lumberjack exist? No, right? You're propping it up, correct? So far following me? If you're following me, put your hand up. Good. If you're not following me, put your hand up. There's one or two faces that are telling me I'm not following you, but their hands are saying, I don't know. So I want the hands to match the faces somehow. Okay. Following me, brother? Yeah? Okay. There's a unique relationship between you and your lumberjack. Okay? See that? Okay. Can that lumberjack ever see you? What the lumberjack says? I want to see this guy. You see that? You'll be like, fool! What if he comes and says to you, you're so weak, I can't even see you. You're going to say, big fool. Right? The deficiency is not in me, it's in you. See that? That's why you're a very kind owner of the lumberjack. Okay? And you want to show the lumberjack to yourself. What are you going to show the lumberjack? Close your eyes, imagine the lumberjack, and show the lumberjack yourself. Tell me what happens. Tell me what happens. At max, you create a face of yourself and you show it to him, correct? This is why the Ahlul Bayt are called Wajhullah. You understand? Allah says, oh my lumberjacks world. Okay? You want to see me? Great. At max, what you can see is what I'll give you. And He creates for us the Wajh of Allah. The Wajh of Allah. Did you understand that point? Salawat, please. Ever learned aqaid like this? No? Okay, this is good aqaid. Okay. Another question. You have a question? Go ahead. Could we pass the thingamajiggy? Thank you.
Yeah, so you were saying at max we'd show our face, but what if we imagined that we appeared in front of the lumberjack?
So at max you're showing what? What's that appeared in front? You're showing your physical body, right?
Yes.
Which is, again, a representation of you, correct?
Yes.
Correct? If it's the real you, then you exist outside and inside too. That's a paradox. You see that? At max, you're showing what? A representation of you, correct? You see that? See that? At max, you're showing, what is the symbol of representation? A face. When they want to make a poster of Sayyid Kamil talking, they put his hand. Here's a hand, soon as going to speak. No, they put the face. Right? Okay. Or they write the name. We're going to open that up later on, inshallah. Both are different types of representations. Okay? The Ahl Bayt have said that they are both the asma of Allah and they are the wajh of Allah. Do you understand? The blind need to hear a name, and those who can see can use both the name being written and the face being shown. That's the difference. Allah has provided a capacity to see Him for all levels of intellects. Salawat, please. Take this close your eyes, close your eyes. Take Aghay Lumberjack, I was going to say in Farsi. Take Mr. Lumberjack Bichare. Make him dangle off of one of the peaks of the mountains in Banff. He's dangling off of it, okay? Make him scared. Put a rabid pit bull underneath him too. It's about to get him. Okay? If the lumberjack in that very intense difficulty thinks it's alone, is it a fool? Or are you always with it? Think of the most difficult situation and put the lumberjack there. In my mind, it's in a meat grinder. Okay? Can it ever be alone? No, it can't be alone. Okay? You are always with it. Always with it. Does that make sense? Salawat, please. When we talked about the relationships in the family unit, when we get to the most difficult of difficult situations, for the young person, it's when they really need to get married and there's no marriage. Okay? When for the husband, it's when they need respect and love and a real connection and there's none there. And vice versa for the wife. Okay? Imagine the most difficult of difficult situations in your family unit, and then remember that lumberjack, when he was in the meat grinder, you were always with him. You understand that? I'm just giving you perspective. You mind what I'm saying? Good. Salawat, please. The relationship between the lumberjack and you is quite unique. Okay? But there's one thing that's not unique. Close your eyes. Give the lumberjack an axe. Can you give it to him? If you can, shake your head. Yes. Give the lumberjack a tree that he could chop down with the axe. Can you do that? Now give the lumberjack free will that he could choose to chop down that tree. Can you do that? No, you can't. And that's why the Quran says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. He's showed you through your own existences that there can be a very unique connection between a creator and a created. But He's also told you that even there are some limitations. And I just pointed to you one of those limitations. See that? When can you give something? When you have it, correct? Not just have it, when you own it. Okay? Hold my book for a second. You have my book, correct? Can you give it to the person beside him? You're not allowed to give it to him. You understand? Okay. You have skin, correct? Give it to him. When you want to give something to somebody else, okay, you must own it first. See that? Sometimes the real owner allows for you to giving something, so he allowed you to give the axe, he allowed you to give another tree, and so on and so forth. And then he wants to show you some authority and it says, good luck buddy, try free will now. You see that? The Imam explains it in a very famous hadith that you all know. When somebody came to the Imam and said, what's this free will thing? The Imam said, put one foot up, right? And the person puts it up. And said, now put the other foot up, and you can't. That was the Imam showing that level of an intellect, that limitation. I showed your intellect that limitation too in a different way. You see that? The message is similar. You have some capacity to give by the will of Allah, again, but He's showed to you that you're limited there too. Okay? He's done all this so you understand what? Allah. Man arafa. What is it? Very famous. Come on, I only use famous lines, okay? I don't say anything except for something that you can't question the sanad of, you can't question like the authority of anyone. I use things that are so popular that if you deny them, you're denying basically everything. Okay? Man arafa nafsa faqad arafa rabba. Okay? Did you like right now do a little bit of understanding of your nafs? That how you create, correct? And through that I tried to explain to you the relationship between you and your creator. See that? See that? Okay, that's good? Okay, that was the aqaid that's not what I want to talk about today. Now we go into question and answer session. Salawat, please. I taught this to you guys because I wanted you to understand that there is depth to the religion that you might not already have. This was a snowflake on the iceberg, basically, regarding our aqaid. The same topic. Same topic. Okay? Sayyid Zain's master's thesis is on this. Okay? Good luck. Okay. Alright. Questions now? Question, Bismillah. Ask whatever you can, because I'm not going to answer everything because I don't know everything. But you're free to ask. Ask literally anything from any field. I'll give you some advices. Ask about things that actually matter to you right now. Things you're stuck on, things you need an understanding, that if you can get that understanding, you're going to leave the room a better person. Here's how you tell yourself that. In your head, close your eyes and rate yourself from 1 to 10 in terms of a good person. Close your eyes, brother. Rate yourself as a good person from 1 to 10. A number should come up. Be real. If it's 10, you're lying. Okay? Look at the empty boxes and open them. The first thing that comes up, ask a question about that. Did you get what I'm saying? Rate yourself from 1 to 10 in your head. It's a counseling psychology trick. Works very nicely. It helps you focus on the problem. Okay? You put a number for yourself. There's some empty boxes that are away from 10, keeping you away from that line called 10. Okay? Open that box. The first thing that comes is the thing you're going to ask a question about tonight. You understand? Great. Don't tell me your sins, brothers or sisters. Just ask a question about those things. Salawat, please. Alright. Who's going to start? I'm just going to volunteer you guys. Go ahead, brother. Yeah.
We're trying to improve spiritually. Thank you. When we're trying to improve spiritually, we get tips, we attend majalis, do your fundamentals, we do some sahabat, etc., and you climb and climb and climb. But at a point, you feel like you plateau, and it becomes unclear how you move on to the next spiritual level. So at that time, what are some advice that you can share on how to kind of create that signal?
You guys hear the question? Question is, when you plateau, what do you do? Okay? Understand that if you are growing, right? Growth is something nice, right? So Allah has to make sure that there's a mechanism to protect growth. Honey is sweet, right? So Allah gave the bee a stinger. Do you understand? So not everybody can come close. People who want to put up with a stinger, then they get the honey. Does that make sense? So growth is like honey. It's very sweet. Nothing sweeter than growth. Okay? Allah's put a stinger with it too. He wants you to grow for the sake of Him and nothing else. Sometimes we grow for the sake of growing. We find pleasure in growing. That's when He kicks you in the legs. He says, fall. You see that? There's no such thing as plateau. There isn't. Either you're growing or you're regressing. Why? Because you're living on, correct? You're wasting time, correct? That is a regression. See that? So when you're growing and He sees that you're growing for the wrong reasons, you're still growing for the wrong reasons. He gives you a nice little kick. You understand that? Does that answer your question? It's to, at that time, thank Allah for the plateau. And reassess your tawajjuh towards Him. Not towards the huris or the muris or the puris. Okay? Okay? Next question. You. In the back with the, yeah, you. Wait, sorry, I'm really sorry. Equality. You. I did that on purpose, huh? I wanted to feel like equality isn't always nice when you call for it. You. You're reading about chess, okay?
I used to think my whole life is until somewhere I read that apparently now I feel like I'm is but I was thinking because there's so many like statements from like the imams and prophets like condemning it. So like I was confused about that.
Sure. There's an interesting history lesson here. Sorry? Question is, look, when we look at the ahadith, chess is haram, clearly. Like, I won't talk so badly about it. Okay? But then we have some of the marajain have given a hukum that it might be halal now. Like Rahbar, for example. Okay, so what's going on? Okay, that's the question. Fair question? Fair question. My question to you is, how does that link to the boxes that are keeping you from 10 first? Second question. Second answer. Somebody came to Imam Khomeini, and by the way, when we say Imam Khomeini, it's quite unique. Huh? Let me tell you something. In the Indo-Pak culture, every person and their uncle is called an allama. Okay? And if you take that word into the Arab culture or the Persian culture, they get shocked and they almost have a heart attack. Okay? You understand? Like, allama, taba, what's this guy? You understand what I'm saying? A reverse shock happens too. In the Persian culture, it's common to call one of the maraji'in what? Imam. You bring that to the Indo-Pak culture, it's like, oh, Imam Boldia. No, brother, it's okay. It's the same Allama thing. Allama. You see what I'm trying to say? Okay. So when I say Imam, in your mind, you put the word Allama. You're easier with that. Okay. So, Al-Khuwaini, somebody asked him a question. He says, the question was this. If chess is not a gambling tool, then is it halal? You answer this question. Answer it. If it's not a gambling tool, is it halal? Yes. The actual answer was, with the supposed condition, yes. With the supposed condition, yes. That guy went and ran with it. Until it got to the point that the culture in the country became that it's fine now. And now it actually then became fine. People normally now when they saw chess, they didn't think of it as a gambling tool anymore. It actually became no longer a tool for gambling. Okay? What happens then? Well, now the next marja comes and says, well, now is it a tool for gambling? If it's not a tool for gambling in this country, then it is not. See that? Does that make sense? Okay, from the ahadith at that era, in that time, so on and so forth, if the milak of the hurmat, now funky words, if the criteria for why it became haram was such that it's a gambling tool, and somebody took that criteria out, then a mujtahid doesn't make up fatwas, he has no reason anymore to call it haram. He's not the haram police, he's the God police. Whatever God says, he has to say. You see what I'm trying to say? If you understood that, recite a salawat, please. Ask questions that are keeping you from that 10, huh? Please. One done? You. Yeah, you volunteer. Go ahead. Yes, you. Of course you. You put your hands up. And look, I even came forward. I'm so excited.
Okay. There's like this. I'm going to ask you like, what would you have done in this situation? Type question.
I'm a bad guy, huh? Go ahead.
So there was a viral clip of in Houston, Texas. There was a Maulana, and he came up onto the minbar, and then essentially he signed some. He was seen with Zionist entity, and a lot of the kids at that time left the hall.
I know what you're talking about.
You saw that, right?
Okay.
And they protested. So in that case, what is the better response? Because obviously the majlises, they teach you to like uphold justice, and obviously you don't want to side with the entities of Zionists against Palestinians, right? But at the same time, is it respectful to leave the majlis of Imam Hussein in that way?
Very good question.
Thank you.
Everybody understand the question? Okay. There's a dude, right? Took some pictures with some bad dudes. Okay. Now you gotta ask a question about this dude, whether he's bad or not. So questionable dude now comes onto the member, and the youth say he's questionable, and they walk out. That's the question. Did I answer the question and explain the question? Okay. There's two things happening here. That same questionable dude in his 15 minutes of the lecture says what? Says the Imam's gonna get you, and I don't know, Allah's gonna get you, and then Zeus is gonna get you, and I don't know, somebody else is gonna get you too. And your families. Right? They're gonna burn you all down. Correct? Is that a majlis of Imam Hussein? I'm sorry, it's not. Okay? So he validated and corrected, even if going was bad, his statement corrected that leaving. It showed to you that it was actually a correct leaving. That's a lower level answer. Higher level answer. He also writes a letter and passage saying that in the past, only Satyadina was somebody who was taken to Al-Sistani. Nobody else was. If you have a problem with a speaker, don't just cancel them. Go to the Maraji'een's office and then ask, and then if the Maraji'een step in, then cancel them. Brother, who the heck are you that we have to go to the Maraji'een for you? You understand? With that criteria, remember, because the Maraji'een's office is going to have a DNS attack. You know what a DNS attack is? A denial of service attack. It's where you go to a website and you have so many bots on computers. A website can handle, let's say, 100,000 users at a time coming in, okay? You put 1 billion users coming in. It fails. You see that? You're going to put a DNS attack on the Maraji's office. So many complaints for so many people. Someone's going to launch a complaint against me too. If this was the mechanism to go by. It's not the mechanism. Allah has given us aql. Okay? You see me outside right now holding a na'udzubillah, can of beer and alcohol and vodka and so on and so forth in my hand. You don't see me drinking it. I put it down and I come inside. You're going to pray behind me? Tell me. Tell me. Probably not, right? No, right? Okay. The people he was standing beside are filthier than vodka. Okay? Salawat, please.
time for some parents? What time do you think will?
I told the people that I will sit until you all leave or I faint. So it's up to you. Whoever wants to leave, leave. Doesn't want to leave, stay.
No rush.
Okay? I'm not fainting because you guys fed me some intense coffee. Okay? There are some times when I think it was a very light statement walking out. Personally. If I was there, Okay? Any other questions? Go ahead. Can we have the thing over there? You guys can yell. Some of the sisters might not be able to. Can you pass it? Just put it beside the mic and then we'll get it from you. First turn it off so we don't die. He'll go. He got it. Thank you. Just pass it right. Put it by the camera and they'll pick it up. Thank you so much. I'm just assuming men can yell louder than you guys. You literally turn the button thing a little bit. There you go. Go ahead. It's good. It's green. Alaikum salam.
So, okay, I guess kind of what my question is, it's kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit, but it's also trying to kind of understand from a different lens. So we know that like Imam Hussain when he was in Karbala, and he was going through like all those misfortunes and hardships, and like the worst that anyone could go through, he would say that the reason that it is easy for me is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me, right? Or like the example that you just gave us, where the lumberjack that we're mentioning in like a meat grinder or like a logging or whatever, he's not ever alone in that situation, right? But at the end of the day, he's still in a meat grinder. Do you know what I mean? How?
Very good question. Imam Sajjad helps to answer that question in dua number 7 of Sahifa Sajjadiyah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This was not planned. Ya man tuhallu bihi uqadul makarih. O the one who dissolves, by whom are dissolved what? The knots of hardships. Not hardships, no. It doesn't say the hardships get dissolved. It says the knots of hardships get dissolved. What's the knot of hardship? It's that feeling of loneliness in hardships. See that? It adds to the hardship. It makes it unbearable. See that? So the remembrance of Allah and tawajjuh towards Him is something that makes the knots of hardships go away. It doesn't make the hardships go away. You see that? Isn't that cool? The son is explaining the father's statement. See that? He goes on. وَيَا مَنْ يَفْثَأُ بِهِ حَدُّ الشَّدَائِدِ. I'm not going to go further, but the whole dua is about this. Okay? He says, oh, the one who breaks the boundaries of intensities. What's a shadid thing? It's intense, right? What does a boundary do? It encapsulates you, correct? You feel stuck, right? In these hardships, you feel stuck. When you feel stuck, you're in trouble. So you start to panic too, correct? So the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breaks the intensities of the hardships. You realize that you had a false understanding regarding the hardships. They're not the king, the hardship is not the king, and it's not their kingdom. There's only one true king and his kingdom. See that? Does it get rid of the shiddah? No. Does it get rid of the makarih? No. But it allows you to overcome it. Why? Because God didn't give you a makarih or a shiddah such that it will kill you. He only gave you hurdles that will make you grow stronger. It's these uqdah and the had that makes them so heavy that you almost die. Or sometimes you do die. Okay? Does that make sense? The tawajjuh fixes the intensity of the problem such that you can lift it again. Okay? You go to the gym, you can lift 50 kilograms, okay? I boosted up to 500. Can you lift it again? No. Tawajjuh does what? Brings it back to 50. Now you can lift it again. Good luck. Question? Go ahead. I need you to scream, brother. You're a brother.
On the same note,
No, it's not good.
on the same note,
Yes. Azan mode. Azan mode. Go ahead.
so regarding the taqwa basically,
Okay.
like it's come on, for a lot, remember a lot, so they become victorious. So my question is, like, say you're in that meat grinder, you're focused on the pain and like remembering Allah may be difficult. Say Prophet Ibrahim being thrown into the fire, say like us, right? We would feel the pain of the fire. Now, if we were to kind of make it more relatable to our day-to-day life, we go to and take care of our own family affairs, or we go to our homework, our thoughts are with what we're doing with the dunya. So, could you give us, I guess, could you explain how we talk about the properly perform in such?
Good. Okay. Question is saying this. He's saying, listen, guys. And when I'm stuck in the meat grinder, it's really, really hard to focus on anything but the pain because it's just so much. See that? You understand that? The response is, one of the things that makes it so much is that you feel that you will never get out of the meat grinder and you're stuck alone in it and no one else knows it and there's no solution for it. Correct? Think of a meat grinder situation in your own life. Okay? The thought of being alone in it and the fact that it might have no solution to it and you're stuck in it forever, does it make it harder or easier? Harder. Think of all meat grinder situations in your life. Shaitan makes sure he brings these three patterned thoughts. These three patterned thoughts. Focus on the meat grinder in terms that there is no solution. I'm stuck. I'm going to be here for a while. See that? When you're fasting and it gets really thirsty and hungry, right? Around 3 p.m. it's really hard, right? But around 6 p.m. when the fast breaks at 7:30 p.m., does it get all of a sudden easier? That light at the end of the tunnel, that intensity you face at 3 p.m., it kind of goes away, right? Yes or no? For me it does. A fast was supposed to make you kind of hungry and thirsty, right? For me it does. Closer to the thing, I'm like, oh, just a few minutes, just a few more minutes left, correct? Okay. One of the things that Shaitan does is it puts a sticker on the end of the tunnel so you can't see the light. You can't erase the light because light's always there. Allah is always there. So he puts a sticker on your eyes so you can't see it. Okay, what happens then? You feel the pain of 3 p.m. 3 minutes before Maghrib time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That's why tawajjuh is important. Literally tawajjuh. The fact that, look, this pain is here, it's true. Okay? But this pain isn't just given to me willy-nilly. I've also been given an intellect too, huh? I am not told to just sit and twiddle my thumbs and just say tawajjuh, 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 tawajjuh. There's nothing. Correct? I've been given an intellect to try to come out of this situation, but I know that I'm not alone in it. Okay? Does that make sense? I can give other examples, I just don't want to. Knowing you're not alone in it and knowing there's a solution to the problem. The solution might be your death, huh? It's okay, as long as you get to Allah. The one who's gained you has lost nothing. And the one who's lost you has gained nothing. Okay? If you gained that thing you were craving, and that was the meat grinder thing, but in the process, you know tawajjuh towards God, you're taking the sweet poison instead of the bitter one. Nothing has changed. Remember the speeches? All the women and the men. Good. Khuda Hafiz, guys. Namaste. Question time. Feel absolutely free to leave whenever you want. I actually encourage it because I like sleep too. Okay. Question? Alaikum salam.
How do I deal with the internal pressure of always having to be better without burning out or constantly feeling like I'm not enough to be out of the norm?
So, very good question. So, the people who are pure, okay, Shaitan is going to come to them and bother them with impurity or purity? Purity. Okay. Ever heard of religious OCD? Like the people who spend like hours and hours in the washroom taking a shower or like cleaning and stuff. Ever heard of that? Okay. Who do you think it happens to, the impure or the really, really pure? Has anybody ever tried to do a religious activity like reading the Quran or namaz for 3 hours? You think you can do it? 3 hours straight. Is it easy for you? These people do a religious task for 3 hours almost daily. Okay? The shaitan messes up the direction, shows you they got the umph. Does that make sense? Shaitan comes and misdirects individuals in the way that they can get misdirected easily. Okay? So those individuals who are trying, he comes to them and does what? He says, that's exactly how I'm going to get you. I'm going to make you focus on the next step and the next step and the next step. The aql says, yes, the next step, but sustainable steps. That's what the Ahl Bayt have said. Because they knew Shaitan can do this. Ahl Bayt they have said, a small action over a long, sustainable period of time is a lot better than a roller coaster. Okay? But the advice is exactly here. That when you don't do a roller coaster, like and you're doing a sustained thing for a long period of time, and the guilt feeling comes in, assess. If I increase it a little bit, is it going to become a roller coaster or can I sustain it? Sustain for how many years? 2 years at least. Have that thought. Can I sustain it for 2 years? No? Okay, it's not my responsibility yet. Honey, shaitan, bye-bye. Okay? Then once you understand that it's not your responsibility, learn from America. What does America do? It first labels brown people as terrorists, then it shoots them. Right? Easier to shoot them then, correct? Right away, label that thought as a shaitani thought, then it becomes easier to say good khudafis to it. See that? Learn from our enemy. Label it, and then say, some terrorists were killed today while they were trying to run after food. Mal'oons. Question here? Go ahead.
How is God just when He knows what it takes for mankind to believe, but still puts mankind in power?
Very, very good question. Very good question. Questions? Mankind makes lots of mistakes, okay? And God knows that mankind is going to make mistakes. He even named us insan, people who forget, right? Then why does He take us to hellfire? He's made us the way that we make lots and lots of mistakes, right? Why does He punish us for something we already have innately? Innately, He's given us the problems that we forget and we make mistakes. Why is He taking us to hellfire? Does that make sense? Is that right? Okay. I just took the shade off of God. He said, wow. I just took the shade off. That's it. But get the question. Right? Good. Communication is key. Okay. It's not the case that God takes you to hellfire for a mistake. Anywhere in our deen says that when you make a mistake, God takes you to hellfire. Oh, you're going to make a mistake? And I'm throwing you hellfire. Somebody listens to music. The floor opens up and it goes. See that? Does that happen? No. So first of all, your assumption is wrong here. God does not take mankind to hellfire for a mistake. He takes mankind to hellfire for a lifetime of not regretting. Okay? You see that? I just flipped it on you. See that? Good. Question? When there's no questions, you gotta go home. Questions? Go ahead. Run mode. Question. Really good question. You answer this question to me. Okay? according to your understanding of your faith right now. I consistently commit mistakes. Okay? Okay. Hazrat Hur, did he make one mistake? No. How long was he working for Bani Umayyah? A long time, right? Okay. Is that income halal? Yeah? Halal income? He paying his khums on that one? No, he wasn't. Right? Bani Umayyah getting him to pray salah and ibadah, or are they getting him to do the dirty work? Okay. How long did it take for him to become a leader of the army? Probably 1,000 people? Probably a while, right? Okay, so lots of mistakes being done, correct? Okay. End of his life, he said, uh-oh, astaghfirullah. Where's he gone? You tell me. Where? Wassalam. Okay. God doesn't take you to hellfire for mistakes. In a high school, okay, did you go to the graduates and say, how did you graduate? How? No, that'd be loopy. You go to the people who flunked. How the heck did you flunk? They had teachers, they had classes, they had a schedule, their exams were easy, they had a guidance counselor, they had a tutor, they even gave you remission classes. There was like literally everything, and it's uncle there for you. How did you flunk? Correct? Right? That's the same question I was going to ask us in the Does that make sense? Okay. I gave you Hussein, you still flunked? Ajib, now you deserve that, buddy. Okay. Question? Questions or no questions? Question.
So my question is, how do we kind of spiritually process or deal with the grief or guilt of watching a genocide happen? Like, we make dua, we post on social media, we do kind of what's in our capacities and go to protests and all that. And then at the end of the day, we go back to our day and our routines. And I get that we have to, but also sometimes it feels like it's not enough. And I know that, it's part of this divine kind of trajectory of truth. The end will be, head, but all that's unfolding is really heavy to watch, and sometimes it's very paralyzing.
Yes.
So what's our kind of responsibility as believers when everything around us is built on this falsehood, where we both feel, in some ways, a little, for lack of a better word, helpless, but then also complicit in the systems that we're part of?
Understand that whenever a door is closed for you, Allah ensures that a door is kept open. Okay? This is a very important thing to learn. Whenever the external hardship becomes something out of your control, right? That is the easiest time to use that to win the internal war. Okay? Now, history example. Now Hussein al-Islam in Karbala, seeing the worst of the worst, right? Okay? Can you stop them? Can you be like, no, couldn't. They butchered his whole family, right? Okay. He uses that time to switch gears. Says, if I'm not going to win the Jihadul Asghar, I will win the Jihadul Akbar. See that? Tawajjuh towards Allah, the hardest of the hard times. Okay? Allah blesses the ummah by the hardships of the ummah. When shaitan starts to win the war outside, Allah uses that as fuel to make sure everybody else wins the war inside. Okay? If you have sins that you're addicted to, addiction is literally to three things: substance, habits, or people. Okay? Addiction is quite literally one of these three. If anybody ever comes with a fourth, let me know. I gotta change my thesis. Okay? It's literally to three things. Okay? Substance, habits, or people. Okay? When you see that you're addicted to something, it's an inner sin, correct? A sin or a habit or a person. Okay? Addicted means what? They have your whole tawajjuh. They're not letting you become mutawajjih to Allah. And that means addiction can become a very common thing now. Okay? So addiction to a thing or a habit or a person, if it's on the inside, you have to get rid of that. Okay? One of the motivators of that is Allah creates hatred for you regarding the shaitan. Okay? Where is the shaitan that he uses to give the hatred to you? He shows it to you on the outside. Okay? He shows you a Yazid. He shows you a, I don't even want to say the guy's name who's in this world. Okay? He shows you on these Looney Tunes. Okay? Okay? And then you see the atrocities they're committing, you end up hating. Like literally, you see the guy's face, and you just want to be like this guy. If I have one reward I want to beat this guy. That's enough for me. That's my heaven. Okay? He puts that much anger in you and that much emotion in you, right? You have to direct it towards killing the Yazid inside. You have to, out of free will, do that. Otherwise, it's not valuable. Okay? Take that anger. Say, this guy, do I hate him because of his face or his nose looks funny? No. It's because he represents evil and injustice, correct? So I hate evil and injustice, correct? Do I hate it just there and not there? No, I hate it everywhere, correct? I hate this evil and injustice. I can't hit him. Where I'm gonna hit him? I'm gonna hit him. See that? See that? Allah makes the inner war, the Jihadul Akbar, easier through the sufferings that the Muslim Ummah goes through in the Jihadul Asghar. And there's a balance to that. The greater the loss is in the world in the Jihadul Akbar, sometimes Allah has to give that great of a suffering in Jihadul Asghar to make sure it's enough to kill that inner shaitan. Do you understand? Karbala happened when there was a lot of loss in Jihadul Akbar happening. Do you understand? Gaza is happening now. That tells you a lot about the Muslim Ummah. Okay? But my job and your job is to channel that particular hatred in the right direction that we have capacity for. Okay? Logically speaking. Let's say I'm failing a course, God forbid. Okay? And there's 3 assignments, okay? I can't get to the last assignment. Okay? But if I do the 2 assignments, I still pass the course. Does it make sense to just focus on the fact that I can't finish the last one? No. That should motivate me further to make sure the other 2 that are left, I do the best in. Right? Right or wrong? Shaitan comes and blurs that for you. And then all you get is frustration, day after day after day. Then the inner war, you lose there too. See that? Allah gave you petrol, Allah gave you water, Shaitan converts it into petrol. See that? You see it? I didn't give you guys fish on the minbar, I taught you how to fish. Petrol, spark, and all the other stuff. I don't do anything except teaching how to fish. Okay? Questions, next questions. That was a question from here. Question, and may Allah curse the enemy and the things that they're doing. Anybody read Sistani's recent post, recent letter? Read it, it's about Gaza. Just yesterday he released it. It's amazing. Go ahead. Questions. No questions means no more sessions. It's good. Untitled. Questions? Questions. So you're all leaving as a 10 right now. You're all saying like all the boxes have been answered. Great. I've done my job of telling you how to direct those questions. Now if you don't ask questions, it's a you problem. See you on the judgment. Okay? Done? Okay. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Uh-oh.
Sorry,
I didn't see, I'm sorry.
in a world that often praises boldness and self
Praises what?
in a world that often praises
Boldness.
and self-promotion,
Self-promotion.
how can we develop confidence while still holding on to modesty and humility?
Really good. Know that you are the Amazon truck driver. Okay. The Amazon truck driver, does he own the stuff in his truck? No. But does he guard it properly because it's valuable stuff, right? He sees himself as the representative of the actual company, correct? Everything you have is valuable. It is valuable. You are valuable, but not out of yourself. You're not the owner of Amazon. You are the Amazon truck driver. See that? So all the good traits and all the nice things you have, yes, I do have it. See that? Am I good in philosophy? Yes, I am. Am I good in logic? Yes, I am. Okay? Am I a good Hausa student? Yes, I am. Is it takabbur? No, it's not. I'm the truck driver. I don't own it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Self-worth in Islam stems from the only one worthy, which is Allah. Okay. Any other questions? No questions? No questions? Good. My question to you, how did you like today's session? How did you like today's session? Simple question. Tell me. Somebody put your hand up. Go ahead. Very deep? Okay. Okay. What else? How did you like today's session? What's one thing you're like, I like this session because it benefited me X? Go ahead. Okay, you see, he liked this session because it got the ball rolling for him regarding thoughts. I'm asking a question to help you, not to help me. Okay, so he's saying he liked the session because it got the ball rolling, right? Shukran lillah. Okay, next person. How did you thought? What did you like about the session today? I liked it because it gave me X. Whatever that is. One answer and I'll end the session. Did you like the session? Maybe you're like, I was seeing the wrong thing. You didn't like the session.
Challenging the way that I tend to think about things that I we just kind of know by passing or know. We just know, but we don't actually think about them. So it helps kind of challenge those and kind of give me this idea of we kind of need to think about it a little bit more.
Great. Think things we already know. Okay. It challenged those and let us think more on those things. Did I say any hadith or ayat or anything like that? Except for this one. This one I agree. Okay? That was not in your reach already. No, right? Okay. Did I try to explain things with examples that are commonly available around you too? Correct? Right? You see that? You see that? This is why Allah in the Quran keeps saying, think. I've already given you enough tools. Think. But He sends a guy here sometimes to help you think. Salawat. Ijaze,